People decide to adopt pets for many different reasons. Some are simply looking for companionship, while some are just trying to save the life of an innocent animal. Others think that caring for a pet would be good practice for caring for younger humans in the future, whereas others invite a pet into their home at the request of their children, hoping it will teach them about responsibility. Some people who want a furry friend joining their households choose to go for lower maintenance pets like cats, despite their reputation for being less open to human affection. Many others choose to adopt a dog into their families. Dogs are famed for their often cheerful demeanors and, most importantly, their loyalty to those who care for them. Whereas cats may think they are the dominant force in their homes, dogs know not to bite the hand that feeds them. When Yumna was looking to adopt a pet, she wasn't particularly picky about the size or anything else. She lived in South Africa, and all she wanted was a little furry friend. However, a few months in, something unexpected happened. She adopted a tiny pet, but a few months later, he completely changed. Considering the fact that Yumna had been dreaming about having a pet for a long time, she decided to go for it. Aside from getting a pet, she was also ready for the responsibility that came with it. However, when it comes to bigger dogs, there are many challenges with maintenance. The catch here is she had no idea what was coming when she adopted this puppy. Regardless of the potential difficulties, Yumna went for it, and it turned out to be worth it. After weeks of waiting for the most important day, Yumna finally got to take him home. She mentioned that he already grew a little bit by the time she saw him again, so the name she decided to give him was Titus. The name literally means great giant warrior, and Yumna decided that he was just destined for something great and massive. The little pooch was incredibly loving from day one, but Yumna had no idea what was coming.
Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story.
As soon as Titus came home, he was given 1,000,000 toys, a comfortable bed, lots of food, and even more love and attention. He had more space at home than he could ever imagine using, and this little king was settling in nicely. Yumna loved playing with her new puppy, and he was so incredibly active that it was hard to keep up with him at times. All of Yumna's friends loved playing with her new pet. Below, this little puppy is pictured at 8 weeks old, and he already looks like he's getting much bigger. As he discovered his favorite toys, games, and better things to eat, he also started playing soccer. Little Titus was growing up faster than Yumna had imagined, which triggered her curiosity in terms of how big he'll actually become. However, she was too overwhelmed with love to think about that just yet. Yumna not only flooded the puppy with toys and love, she also allowed him to play in the pool as well. She wanted him to get used to playing in the water and get acclimated with the pool scene in general. After all, puppies should love playing in the water. As soon as Titus got close to the pool, he was a natural. He knew how to get the perfect shot by the pool, as well as actually swimming. He really looks like he was having a great time playing by the swimming pool. It wasn't long until Yumna was everyone's favorite in the Saluji family. He was becoming more loving and adorable with each and every day, and the puppy seemed to have endless reserves of energy. His favorite thing to do was play with all of Yumna's siblings, as well as parents. However, Titus was starting to look a little different, as well as doing things differently. He was already much bigger than most dogs his age. Every dog lover knows that puppies grow super quickly over time. Because every dog owner knows this fact, Yumna did not see anything strange about Titus's rapid growth. From the moment Yumna took Titus into her home, she knew Titus would grow to be a fairly large dog. Most Alaskan Malamutes, Titus's dog breed, are known to be pretty big. However, Titus started to exhibit some odd characteristics. You'll need to see this for yourself. No one realized at this point, but Titus started to grow much more rapidly than all other dogs normally do. Every single day, Titus's growth would jump off the charts. He started to reach his full-grown size as a puppy. Yumna was so obsessed and in love with her new baby puppy that she would have adored him no matter what size he was. However, nobody knew just how big he was going to get. It was only a matter of time. Before anyone realized anything was wrong, Titus was already living up to his perfect name, the Great Giant Warrior. Titus was growing exponentially, and before everyone's eyes, Titus reached the size of a full-grown dog. Technically, he was still a puppy, but Titus already weighed 120 pounds, 54 kilograms. For those who don't know, that weight is enormous for an Alaskan Malamute. Anyone who met Titus as a baby would not have ever recognized him. Pretty soon, as Titus grew and grew, he started to look more like a huge bear than a puppy. Even though he looked like a grown boy, he was still acting like a puppy. His behavior reflected his true age. Yumna started to get a little nervous. She loved her dog more than life, but she started to worry if she could properly take care of an animal that large. At this point, Titus was already towering over Yumna. Titus was never shy about giving love. He was the sweetest animal and loved to cuddle and give lots of hugs. He loved to jump all over Yumna. There was only one issue. His giant size made him a lot to handle. He was huge and fluffy. Hugging Titus was a full experience. Once Titus reached 2 years old, he was gigantic. Owner Yumna opened up in Get Leashed magazine and stated, "To be honest, his size comes from all that magical fluff. Titus was the greatest cuddle buddy in the whole world. He loved cuddling so much that he would even smile during a serious cuddle session." There was one hilarious problem. Titus didn't realize how big he was. This sweet puppy still believed he was a lapdog, even though he couldn't fit on Yumna's lap. Even though Yumna and her family were used to Titus's height and weight, strangers started to stare. Normal walks with Titus quickly turned into crazy outings. People reacted with shock to Titus's large figure. Yumna even shared her experience with the dodo and said, "His fluffiness is the first thing that catches attention, then his size." She continued, "Wherever we go, even just for a walk around the block, we get stopped and asked about his size, age, and most often, what breed is he? I guess it's not often that you see a lion dog walking the street." After a short period of time, people took notice of Titus, and he became a social media star. Fame hit, and there was no turning back. Luckily, Yumna couldn't wait to share her beautiful dog with the world. The owner started her own Instagram of her baby. Every day, she would post photos of her adorable Alaskan Malamute. She wanted to show how well-behaved and sweet he was. All of a sudden, Yumna had 140,000 followers. She said, "If his looks didn't get your attention, his personality definitely will. He has an amazing soul that earns everyone's affection." Titus might be the main event on his Instagram page, but he is far from the only star. He makes sure to share the spotlight with Trez, his brother, a Congo African gray parrot. The Instagram account is titled Trez and Titus. Trez happily joins his brother in goofy yet adorable photos together. Due to the way that Trez mimics everyone, Yumna likes to call him the ruler of everything based on his very regal disposition. Like most dogs, Titus does not care for being serious. He always wants to play around and gets into goofball activities. While it might be fun for Titus and Yumna, it is less fun for stuffed animals, such as this Mickey Mouse. Titus is elated with sticking his teeth into his plush cotton center. All Mickey can do is lay there motionless and watch Titus go to town on his insides. Yumna always ensures that Titus has something to keep himself entertained. Titus does not mess around when it comes to his toys. He takes them very seriously and makes sure to enjoy himself to the fullest when he's with them. His favorites have always been his plush purple dinosaur and his toy weapon. Perhaps he likes to entice the dinosaur into games of cops and robbers. We would bet the house that Titus likely wins those battles. Due to his past decimation of Mickey, we are unsure if he is the cop or the robber. Yumna is happy to share the joys of Titus with her friends, and Titus is happy to tag along. He's always down for a road trip. Everywhere he goes, he seems to be a star, and the attention has certainly gotten to his head. Look at that attitude as he sits in the passenger seat with his shades on. His incognito eyewear is doing nothing to disguise him from his fans. With Trez and Titus by her side, Yumna has quite the adorable and playful family. They are always posing for photos together that make their Instagram followers go crazy. In this one, Titus doesn't seem pleased with Yumna and Trez stealing his spotlight. He feels the best way to take back the attention is a slight gnaw on Yumna's arm. She's always capturing shots like this, and who could blame her? Titus is too cute not to photograph. As much as Yumna loves to play with Titus, it's not always the fair fight that it seems to be. Due to Titus's size, he can easily overpower her when they are fooling around. Titus does not exactly know his own strength, but that doesn't keep Yumna from playing with her beautiful dog. In comparison, Titus does not look so small next to his mother. They always have too good of a time together. Since Titus is near the size of a small human, he might as well help out his mother with human tasks. Yumna is happy to have Titus help her with administrative work, throwing some part-time work in Titus's direction from time to time. He has clumsy typing skills, but is a great companion during those difficult working moments. If she ever needs a break, she knows that Titus is there for a great big hug. But that's not all. There's no better time of day for Titus than when Yumna comes home. He cannot hold back his excitement every time she walks through the door. All he can do is jump for joy until she embraces him with the necessary hug. They are a match made in heaven, and he misses her dearly when she leaves to go out. Besides his beautiful looks, his large personality warms Yumna's heart every day. For newly minted pet owners, it can be hard to imagine just how much a new furry family member can change your life. But for Yumna, she now couldn't imagine life without Titus, as large as he has grown. Of course, he's not the only Alaskan Malamute to have garnered an incredible social media following. Another of his ultra-furry brethren, known as Loki the wolf dog, is a Malamute Husky mix who has an impressive 1.7 million followers turning into his Instagram updates. While Titus might not have been the first giant dog ever adopted as a puppy, his internet exposure may have inspired others to share pictures of their own furry friends for others to enjoy. While photos abound of big dogs in unusual places, a regular favorite is seeing them happily curled up next to their owners, which often serves to highlight their vast frames. One Reddit user shared a photo of him being nearly absorbed by fur, saying it might be time for a larger couch. One often marvels at those intrepid dog walkers who are hooked to multiple large dogs, all of whom desire to explore the world in different directions. For this Alaskan Malamute owner, it seems even two of the glorious beasts are difficult to manage on their daily walks. Here he struggles to rein them in as their combined size massively overwhelms his own slender frame. These two fluff balls look utterly content with their location, however, and are only planning to move if bribed. When this dog was brought home as a small pup, his owners, similar to Yumna, couldn't have known just how much space their pooch would one day take up. As their love for him grew, so did his body, until it became clear who was really running things around here. Though he would have liked a slightly larger throne, this dog seems to think that there's nothing out of the ordinary about this scene, even if he is nearly as big as the couch. While training your impressionable dog, there are many manuals and instructional videos one can turn to for advice on how to go about such a task. Most professionals likely wouldn't recommend the approach taken below, as this furry husky settles down for his afternoon lie-down with a textbook on how to fetch at his nose. Then again, if these owners have taught their dog how to read, they may know something more about dog training than the rest of us. There are a few reasons dog owners opt for smaller rather than a larger dog, only one of which is space. When you're looking at your adorable fluffer, however, it can be hard sometimes not to pick them up and attempt to smother them in an embrace. When you're the owner of a fairly large Alaskan Malamute, however, you may be more at risk than your fur baby for being smothered. This bear-sized pup looks pretty content with this human hug, for the time being. Though Alaskan Malamutes are known for being a fairly active breed of dog, especially given that their size would require them to have large amounts of space at their paws should they truly want to run around, Eve has learned to mellow out around the cubs. Baby Adam might only be 4 months old here, but he was certainly well protected by his loving guard dog, who seems to think of the baby as a pup of her own. There's little more memorable than your first joyride, as this small baby clearly experiences in this picture. Though the term usually pertains to teenagers who take their parents' car without permission, in this case, it seems there was at least one parental unit who consented to setting their baby on this terrifying course. This tot may look wide-eyed now, but hopefully she was more exhilarated than terrified. Only time will tell whether this experiment was worth it or not. They may call dogs man's best friend, but the truth is, there is little more heartwarming than watching a child grow up alongside a dog. Their dogs can serve as a protector, especially when they're as large as this Alaskan Malamute, but also serve as a friend they turn to in times of need. Kids might have trouble expressing themselves verbally, but dogs can usually understand anyway. The dog below clearly knows just how much his family loves him and will happily take all their hugs. Given that Alaska is the biggest state in America, it's only natural that such a large breed would have developed out of the northwestern wilderness. As Anna Svenska would discover, however, she didn't have to leave the confines of civilization in order to find a whole pack of Alaskan Malamutes. By traveling mere hours by car, she was able to reach Arctic rainbow Malamutes, where Lorna Bartlett cares for an impressive 12 dogs, all from the same massive breed. Another veritable social media star is this enormous Alaskan Malamute, Danny, who is safely living his days in a doggy wonder within the borders of Canada after a daring rescue from Singapore. With Danny's thick fur and dire wolf-like stature, it seems he is much better suited to the great wilderness afforded by the terrain of Canada. Danny not only presents his adorable antics to the world in various photos and videos, but his loving mommy also shares advice for caring for his breed. One of the best-known big pups to take on the internet has to be Loki. His human dad, Kelly Lund, had been aching for a dog of his own after breaking away from his own pack. He instantly fell in love with the tiny furball and figured he had the expertise to appropriately train a highly active breed. Loki may look like a simple husky, but he actually has a mix of Alaskan Malamute and wolf in his genes. Like most new parents, Lund couldn't help but document every moment of Loki's childhood and adolescence. The pictures he was sharing on his social media sites documenting Loki's growth and milestones proved to be extremely popular. Who wouldn't help but coo over the incredible moments the two shared day in and day out? As Lund became aware of just how popular his puppy posts proved, he decided to move them over to an account of their own. Like the famed direwolves of Game of Thrones, Loki made for a striking figure against a backdrop of ice in his native Colorado. Pictures like these showing the full range of the dog's adventures proved to be a hit with Instagram users, and Lund's followers soared into the thousands. As the dog became ever more popular, brands began to take notice and hoped that the pup could pull influence, like many of Instagram's most popular human accounts. Lund had never tried his hand at photography prior to adopting Loki, but he loved his fur baby so much, he just wanted to show the world how special he was. Though he never actively tried to accrue followers on his Instagram account, the striking images he crafted with Loki caused users to stop and take notice. After all, it's hard to ignore a pup like this appearing to drive a car the way Loki is in the picture below. With over 1.7 million Instagram followers, it could have been easy for Lund to get lost in the superficiality of social media. In his core, however, he knew the page's success hinged on him to continue to focus his energy on his furry companion. The biggest step he's taken outside of letting Loki be the animal that he is was opening an online shop to sell some Loki-themed memorabilia, from mugs to shirts, calendars, and more. When asked about the adoption, Yumni only had positive things to say. "I fell in love the second I held him," she shared with the dodo. When the two first met, the puppy was only 2 weeks old, and since the first moment they locked eyes, Yumna and her puppy became inseparable. Because the dog was so small, he needed all the attention and nurturing he could get. According to Yumna, her heart melted on the spot.
If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with your friends and family. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.